town you never heard of. Hey everybody, welcome to the Common Folk Podcast with Ben, Morgan, and Andy.
All right, welcome back to Common Folk.
Here we go, the show for the people, by the people.
That's right. That's right.
Turned into our tagline or something.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Just calling it how it is.
I mean,
right?
What about them shirts? Who do we get to get those going with that tagline?
Ooh, T-shirt?
We should call somebody.
Okay.
I know a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we kick off, let's chat a little bit about our partner over there at Watson Gloves.
Yeah, I'm excited about this because I'm going to be using these gloves quite a bit.
Yeah.
It is a fence building season, and actually just got off the phone with my dad. He's like, well, when are you getting back? We need to build more fence. We need to fix the fence we started to fix, blah, 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 blah.
Did you go this past weekend?
2 weekends before.
Two, okay.
And then this last weekend we had a bunch of stuff going on. Wasn't able to get back. And the weather was basically what really put the kibosh to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which everyone welcomes the rain, but then it's also like, well, now we can't get out and get stuff done, though.
Right. Yeah.
You
No,
guys-
Go ahead.
It was where you guys are at. You're north here. Did they get the tornadoes or not?
No, just severe winds.
Okay.
Yeah, those tornadoes were, that was devastating.
It's
Yep.
horrible.
Yeah.
So Watson Gloves, man, we hooked up with these guys as we talked about. Well, I guess it depends on what order these episodes come out in, but they had heard an episode where Andy was talking about no one can find any good work gloves.
I was building fence last year.
Yeah.
And then, my gloves kept ripping on me.
and we weren't trying to like pick up a sponsor or anything.
Wait, that
We were
wasn't in
just-
your back pocket? You were
Yeah.
like, ooh, I need a glove company?
I don't even really remember talking about it.
I don't
but
either. I want to know what episode this was. So this is so organic. I love it.
This lady from Watson contacted us and said, hey, I hear you guys can't find good work gloves. We've got them.
Okay.
I was like, okay, well, shoot them over. Let's take a look.
What you got?
And I'm obviously big on if there's something that we're going to talk about and get behind, like we're going to have to put it through the ringer and be able to stand behind it.
Uh-huh.
So we've been talking with them for well over 6 months, looking at a bunch of different samples, kind of narrowing down to which ones are our favorite. They have hundreds and hundreds of options, throughout every industry. Mm-hmm. But we obviously wanted a good work glove. And then for myself personally, I like kind of a mechanic style glove that I can use for a little bit finer type things. Mm-hmm. So we settled on two of them, and right now the one that we're primarily working with, they call the Duke. So this is their leather. It's actually deerskin, kind of your standard leather work glove, although it's made a whole lot nicer.
Yeah.
So good.
It is reminiscent of the best gloves I ever owned, fixing fence, but this was, 15 years ago. Deerskin, flexible, all that stuff, soft but durable. And honestly, I forget the brand name of that pair, but these remind me of that. But we'll put them to the test.
Absolutely.
We'll see what happens.
So they're super soft. They've got kind of a nice little stretch to them. Like you said, that deerskin, they call it a driver's style where the thumb is inset, so it just naturally fits your hand very nicely. Elastic on the wrist, so that stays up well. And believe it or not, these things are made in Canada.
Yeah. And they've been around since 1918, I'm reading here.
Yeah.
So they obviously have been doing a couple of things right.
Yeah.
They've
I mean,
been
you
able
can't
to-
be around that long and not
Right.
have a good product. I mean,
Over
someone
100
that's
years.
not super used to gloves, like we have random gloves everywhere. But I mean, these just fit super duper nice and they feel good. So, I mean, is there going to be a difference in, like, are we talking they might be a little bit more since it's deerskin compared to just junk?
Well,
Deerskin's
these-
always more expensive, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Okay.
for sure. So you've got that, and the way these things are made and the quality of them, they're going to cost a little more than, the glove that you're going to go and buy at your local hardware store or whatever, but it's going to be worth it. These are going to last a whole lot longer.
Yeah, I was going to give you a little pushback there, and I don't care if it's sneakers, overalls, hats, even furniture or like a TV set. Like there's this point where if you spend a little bit more, the quality's so much better and it lasts longer.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that buy cheap stuff, and then less than a year later, they're buying another pair or they're buying another TV or whatever because it's junk.
Yeah, I mean, that
buying
goes
a
for
continuous-
anything.
Yeah,
Clothes.
right.
I mean, we've talked about that with guns. I mean, everything.
So,
you get cheap crap.
If
yeah.
you spend $200 on a pair of boots rather than $40 on a pair of boots,
Yeah.
you're further ahead because you still can use those boots 3 years down the road.
Is there a guarantee on this?
I mean, you're guaranteed to
Well, I just didn't know
want
if
to keep
something
wearing
happened.
them every time you go outside.
I didn't know if something happens to them. You're like, hey, this ripped.
I don't know that there's
Okay.
anything official. I'd have to look into that. But
Yeah.
folks can get these through our website. So at farmfocused, FOCUSED.com, this particular glove is currently listed. We actually do have a really good price on it. You can find these. The only other place I've found them from Watson is through Amazon. I think Watson might sell direct that way. But they don't have like a distributor that I'm aware of that you can get them kind of locally or necessarily here in the States.
God.
So that's us.
Common folks breaking ground again.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And our price is actually really good on them. So, and then also the reason I was getting at that, you said a guarantee. I mean, just like anything else on Farm Focused, if you get something that you're not happy with or something tears or doesn't fit or whatever, we take care of it. So that's the way it's going to
Okay.
be.
Yeah, that's true.
So definitely check them out. Shout out to our brethren in Canada for making this super quality product.
Here we go.
Looking forward to putting it to work.
Well, and didn't you say that it has that tag on it so you can hang it or something?
Oh, yeah, it does. Yep, it's got a loop tag there.
Loop
you can
tag.
hang. I don't know what you call it. but-
That loop tag has the maple leaf on there,
I like it.
It reminds me of when I was a little younger than our guest here, Joel. My first 22 for Christmas. The stock was made in Canada.
Ooh,
Nice.
So it had that sticker on it like that.
it's all coming around.
It
Coming back to
is.
Canada.
It
see?
is.
Canada.
Eh?
So
They're just in our backyard, those people over there.
we had mentioned a couple episodes ago about recent turkey hunt that we went on, which we all kind of do this every year. Get out and we've done some episodes with Morgan on the deer hunt and how all that came to be. So we had some recent success with our son Joel. So we wanted to have him out today to chat a little bit about the hunt and everything leading up to it, and then everything after it. So
Okay.
welcome, Joel.
What's up?
How's it going?
Good.
You've been on before. If anyone's listening to the first time, a couple other times? You're
think
like a
like-
veteran now.
3 times or
Yeah.
something like that.
I know.
Oh, wow.
So Joel, how old are you now?
13.
13.
Oh my
Except
God.
the other day, he literally tried to, what's it called? He tried to tell me that he was 14. He totally tried to brainwash me and was like, how do you not know I'm 14? Like, I literally had to think about it for,
Oh, he had you going.
for a second. I was like, no.
Were you trying to get like
No.
your learner's permit or your school permit or something?
I forgot what it was
It was,
about.
it
That's
was
what you
about
gotta do.
something.
You gotta
And I
handle
was
it,
like,
yeah.
that's what I actually said. I go, you actually can't drive. I know you're not 14.
You go back to the logistical part like that.
I
Like,
did.
no, I can't pawn you off on yourself to get to school. I got it.
Yeah. So it was just kind of funny. We were bantering in the car. So he is 13.
Okay.
And I know.
So he is 13.
He's a teenager.
So let's kind of talk about some of it from the beginning. Like how many years have you been turkey hunting, do you think? Do you remember?
This is my second year, I
Is
think,
this
because
the
I'm pretty
second?
sure we went last year.
So we would have went last spring and also probably last fall. So then this spring. But you probably don't remember it, but you went in these woods back here when you were probably 6 or something like that. And we hunted back there, camoed up and everything. You're asleep. Laying on
Oh,
the ground.
yes. I remember the
I'm
picture.
awake looking for the turkeys. But it hadn't had a lot of success. But continued to put the things together and applied some of the strategies that we used with the deer hunt with Morgan. With the game cams, trying to pattern them. We used the blind this year, set up an area that we were pretty sure they were going to be coming through, but, didn't know for a fact. So Joel and I went out, youth. Was that like a week? Was there a week of youth in Nebraska?
Yeah, that opens up a week before everyone else can get out there.
Yeah. So we went out that week, early in that week, sat, didn't see anything, right?
Yeah, we didn't.
I think
didn't see
I think we
anything.
heard we heard some. They were calling. Remember it was getting late and dark, and they were
Wait,
calling
is
back.
this the first or second time?
That was
Or-
this year, but the first time we went this year.
Oh, okay.
But were you calling then too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I didn't ever ask about that time. You guys just didn't see a thing.
we didn't see any, did we? No, we saw
Oh,
one. We saw a
one,
hen.
but it was,
yeah,
yeah, it was a girl.
yeah, we saw a hen, but it didn't. It wasn't. Even if it was, if we could have shot it, it didn't come in range. We saw it like down the path a little ways.
And what is range for someone that doesn't know?
Well, where we were at, you only have like maybe 30 yards of range to shoot, because once you start getting past that, you're in all the trees and everything.
But what would be the furthest?
I don't think you should stretch it past 40 yards. I
Really?
don't.
Okay, because of why?
It's a shotgun, and you're aiming. It has to be a headshot, or it's supposed to be.
Because then you mess up the meat.
Yeah.
And the bird might suffer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And those birds are they're ridiculously tough. Like there's plenty of cases where yahoos shoot them with like deer rifles,
Oh.
and these feathers are so tough will actually ricochet a bullet off of them. There's plenty of turkeys. You go out right now and you're going to find 2 or 3 that have arrows stuck in them.
Running around.
Yeah, running around. Like
Yeah.
it happens
Aw.
every year or every deer season. Like, oh, look at that turkey up in the tree. It has an arrow stuck in his side. Like they're just tough.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're going to do archery, I'm all for it. Like do archery. It's a whole nother level, whole nother experience. But they make these broadheads called guillotines that just slice their heads, like basically cut them off almost.
Mm.
And you don't want to get over a 6 or a 7 yard shot for that. You're looking for a 4 to 5 yard shot.
Yeah.
But that guarantees a kill, quick kill, ethical, all that stuff.
Okay.
So that's why I'm back to the shotgun. I'm looking for a 20-yard shot every time. When I go out with Ashley or whoever I'm guiding, I'm trying to call that bird into 20 yards. That's what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that first night we went out, we were getting a little bit of action on the call, but nothing coming in. And then that hen came in, and I think we had decoys out. I think she realized those were hen decoys, and she just didn't care. And
Yeah.
then she turned around and ran up the hill. And then as the sun started going down, we started getting a lot of calling back from toms, but you could tell they were going up to roost,
Yeah.
and they were trying to get who they thought we were to come follow them up to the roost.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were like, it was every call, like on the spot. You could call as many times as you wanted, and they were immediately calling back.
But what do you mean
Hollering.
up to the roost? Like flying up to the trees where they sleep?
Yeah, so,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not I don't know this lingo. Like when you
every
say that.
night, the birds kind of flock together and make their way to their roost.
But all the guys together and all the girls, or like they intermingle? What?
Yes and no. So kind of view it as like a harem, right? Like one tom, he's going to account for all these hens. And so when he's hammered, when he's going, "Blah," like he's calling all of his girls to him. And then that's usually how it works. He does that call, and all the girls are like, okay, it's time for us to go over here. You know, he's the most dominant male, and that's where everyone will roost that night. Now, you will have toms that tag along that don't challenge the big guy yet, and you also have jakes that will just kind of younger males.
Do their own thing.
And they'll stick around on the outskirts because they don't want to get their butts kicked. So, yeah, they'll intermingle, but there's one tom to a group of hens like that.
Okay.
And so you guys, by calling that hen in, that's a great thing because she was curious. She wanted to see what the hell's going on down there.
Mm-hmm.
If she would have been able to pull a tom down with her, he would have saw those girls, hollered at him, your decoys. They wouldn't have moved, so he would have got kind of ruffled up, and he would have came over and strutted, did the dance like, ladies.
Like, hey, don't you see me? Like,
Yeah,
let's
you
go.
gotta come with me. You gotta come with me. Or he would have just been mad, like, no, I'm hollering at you. Get over here.
Yeah.
So it's so much fun. But just to do that call and have him hammer back to you, I mean, that's a lot of fun, isn't it?
And at this time, was like it later in the evening?
Yeah, so we were
Okay.
definitely at the end of it, and it was becoming obvious that they weren't coming in. So we called it a night, headed back up, came back up to the house, and we were just screwing around on the deck calling, and they were hollering back from the woods, and it was pitch black. And
Oh,
again, it was
really?
like every call they were just hollering. They're like, "Get out here! Here's where we are." But so then we, that was that. Headed home and then just tried to figure out, hey, when can we get back out again? Which is tough because
Oh, yeah.
with most folks, obviously you're busy. the kids, you getting the kids out, they've got all these activities. Joel was in track at the time, also trap shooting, and just, random stuff going on with his friends and all those kinds of things. So I wasn't sure if we were going to get out again. But then it was about a week later, a few days later, almost a week, kind of had an opportunity. It was a nice day, and I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was telling Joel, hey, let's get down there, let's get out. That day, what were you doing that day? You had some other stuff
I had
going
a
on.
track meet, I'm pretty sure. Or
Yeah.
was it track? I'm pretty sure it was a track meet.
So you were at
which you
track
got
all
sunburn
day.
at.
Yep. So then you got home.
Oh, so this is a late afternoon hunt.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So then he came home. We had some dinner quick, and I was like, "Well, let's go turkey hunting." And I don't think you wanted to go.
No, not at all. I felt like if I didn't go, then you'd either be really mad at me or something like that. And Mom was like, just go. This is like the one time you can go. Just go. Then I just went, and then
Yeah, I was like, I know you're tired. Like you had walked out to the garage. I'm like, I know you're tired, but I think you're going to regret this. You better go.
So now you totally regret going because it was just a bummer. You wish you would have just stayed home and took a nap.
So what happened after that? Y'all left the house and then what?
yeah, we got there.
Kind of play it out. Like, what was the sequence of events? So we head out. We get up to our spot up there. We park. And what?
And lay it on them. Be totally honest. Like put us in your mindset. Like, first of all, I wasn't excited to be there. I'm doing this more for Mom than Dad. He's dragging me out in the woods. I'm tired. I'm sunburned. This sucks. Just let him have it.
Yeah, so I got there. I just sit in the car for a while. I'm like, oh my gosh, why do I have to be here? Why do I have to do this? Get out. We grab all our stuff. I load my shotgun. And we start walking down. And we saw like a deer or something like sprinted up the hill.
Yeah, I think we heard something. We weren't sure what it was, but
I thought it was a deer or something like that. But yeah, we got to our blind. We were setting up the decoys, and now we wait. And I think we didn't hear one. You just like called them in without.
yeah. So I'm not a super experienced turkey hunter, so like I'm trying things each time to see like what works, what doesn't work. What should we do? And I felt like the hunt that we had done a week prior to, where that hen came in, and she wasn't making any noise, but she was listening to some of the calls and coming in. And then once we started getting that activity with the toms late in the night, I thought, man, what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to call like every 10 or 15 minutes. Just the same kind of thing. And just see what happens. If something's around, maybe they'll holler back. So, and previously I hadn't done that. I almost kind of waited until I would hear something to call.
So you started calling before you heard anything. That was the difference.
Yeah, so we started calling straight out of the gate. And like I said, about every 10, 15 minutes, just another little, hen call. And so, yeah, we're just sitting in the blind. Joel's laying back. He's not looking for anything. He's just like...
Still annoyed
Yeah.
at this point?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I've got my
It's a long day.
my
right?
binoculars out. I've got the slate call out. I'm just looking around, the whole time because, I'm loving it. I love being out there and just seeing everything I can see. I think we saw a squirrel or whatever. I'd like, hey, man, there's a squirrel. He like doesn't care. He's like, whatever. He's got his phone out and is playing some video game or something. So again, still no noise. And we had talked about what's going to happen if we see one, so being prepared for that. So we had the front window on the blind open. Here's how you're going to have to stand up. Here's where you're going to have your gun. You're going to have this ready and that ready and those kinds of things. So next thing I know, I'm looking down the lane where it's kind of this path where animals tend to travel, and I can see one coming just barely coming over. And I think that, I'm sure right as soon as I saw it, I said something to you.
Yeah, you're like, oh, there's a turkey, and then you're like, get ready. He's coming like slowly, but in about like a minute or two, you'll get a shot off or something like that if he keeps coming at the pace. And then you started saying, oh, he's coming really quick, and then you start calling him in.
Is your heart racing at this point, or like,
And-
do you even remember?
Well, I think I just got really excited, and then before you know it, Dad said, like, look over, like he's all, what is it called when you get,
When their
Or-
feathers are out?
yeah,
I don't know. What do you call that?
Well, he's all strutting. He has
Yeah.
his fans, full show fan. He had his fan all fanned out. Oh, yeah. He was putting on the show for the ladies.
and then I looked over and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna shoot this thing. Like, and then I couldn't get a shot because of the angle that I was in. And then so I moved. My dad told me to move over so I could get a better angle. And then he didn't like something, so he just went down into like an area or something. And then he lifted his head up, and then I just took the shot, and then yeah.
Yeah, so from my point of view, he was coming down that lane, but I didn't know, it was too far away. I couldn't tell for sure if it was a male or female. And then as he started getting closer, we kept calling, and he was clearly responding to the calls, and he's looking for he wasn't making any noise though.
Yeah.
He was just coming, and then he kind of almost started jogging, and then I could see that beard hanging and a little bit of that redhead, and I was like, oh, okay. And, I just looked at him. I was probably more excited than he was. I was like,
It's working.
it's a boy. You can shoot this one. You have to shoot him right in the head. I'm telling him, like, we're whispering, whatever.
Yeah.
And the bird, keeps making his way up. And like he said, he comes kind of up over the hill and he sees the decoys. And at that point, he's probably 15 feet from the decoys. And that's when he kind of flares up, like you said. He starts strutting around. And he's got his feathers out, and he starts walking closer to him. He gets within maybe 5 foot of the decoys, or one of the decoys, because we had the decoys spread out. But unfortunately, the decoy that he was going to was off to the right if we were looking out the front of the blind. And that's where Joel's blind spot was, because his is just straight out the front of the blind. So it was kind of bad planning for where we put it.
I'm going to tell you, it doesn't matter what you would have done.
Oh.
It would have went in the other way. Like,
Yeah.
I've never had a turkey hunt just go the way like we set it up to do. So,
Right.
yeah.
So you wanted him to come in more direct in front of the blind instead of more angled.
I was just kind of hoping that it was going to come in between the decoys, and then that would have been right in the middle there.
Oh, I see.
But in actuality, it was kind of off to the right. So he comes in a little bit, and then, like Joel said, he clearly something, he was like,
Spooked him
I don't
a
like
little
this.
bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he didn't go running off, but he just, tucked his feathers back in, stood up, turned around, and started walking away. And I'm watching him the whole time, and I'm looking at Joel, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna take off. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think you can get the shot, but you got to come around over here. So he comes around, and then I just kind of sat down. I didn't think he was going to shoot it. I didn't think you had the shot, but you could see something that I couldn't.
Like you were like, what'd you say? You're like from your angle, you said, don't take the shot. Like I can't even see him.
Yeah,
And I'm like, no, I can see him. Let me shoot it. Then you were like, all right, just take it. And then yeah,
Which because you use this gun a decent amount, or you have, so when you had something in your sights,
Yeah.
right? So good thing you did.
Yep. So he rolls it. I look up. I see the bird roll. I think so. You've got a double barrel shotgun. Had a second shot in there. So you go flying out of the blind.
Where'd you put your gun? You didn't like freak out like I did with my deer.
No.
I was still in the mode to like, I'm gonna put another one in this sucker. I wasn't like ready
so you
to
ran
celebrate.
with the gun?
Yeah, I wasn't ready
Oh.
to celebrate yet.
You didn't think he was dead?
I'm gonna shoot him again or something like that. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think as soon as you took the shot, you flip the safety. You go flying out the blind. I'm still behind you, and I'm like, whoa, 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 and I'm chasing you out of it. And then we go down to the bird. Clearly hit him well in the head. He's moving around a little bit, but
Yeah.
dead. And Joel's like, oh, should I shoot him again? And I'm like, no, don't shoot him. No, because at that point we're only a couple feet away from him.
Yeah.
And then that was it. Then we just kind of sat there and checked him out. Took the traditional photo.
Right on. Yeah, I saw those.
Yep.
Those are cool. So when you took that shot, he was kind of like behind or like down in the ravine. And he popped his head up. So pretty much all you saw was the head, and that's when you shot.
Yeah.
So that's like a perfect scenario. And that's, especially with a male bird like that, that's when you want to take that shot, is when he kind of stops and pricks his head up. And then you got a really nice clear shot. And then you won't ruin the meat, the breast meat, his fan, all that stuff. So you actually had a perfect scenario there to pull the trigger.
Yeah. And from a gun standpoint, like, I think this is kind of an interesting part of the story. So this is his trap gun, which is also a field gun, for upland game hunting or whatever, over under Satori 12 gauge. It has a modified and an improved cylinder choke in it. So, and typically we're shooting out of the modified, the top barrel with single shots. I had gone to the gun store and got a turkey choke. So when we got in the blind, we tried to put the turkey choke in, and I bought the wrong choke. They recommended the wrong choke to me. It doesn't fit that gun.
Right. Of
So
course.
I'm like,
And you didn't bring the gun with you when you bought it?
no.
Okay.
Well, I told him exactly what gun I had, but whatever. So, and on top of that, when I went to the gun shop that day, I was looking at turkey loads. And crazy expensive.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
I mean, it was like
Why?
it was like 5 of them for like $30 or $40.
Yeah,
What's
you're looking
the
at
deal?
like, it could be up to $12 a round
What?
Yeah.
a load.
So you think about all this. The youth permit was $8. Obviously, you have to have a gun and those kinds of things, which we do anyway. But then you go out, you spend $10 to $12 a round. You're going to use at least one, obviously. You got to go buy a $50 turkey choke. You got to get your camo. You got all these things, right?
It adds up.
So, number one, we didn't use the turkey choke because that didn't fit. I was looking at these rounds and I'm like, I'm not buying a $40 box of turkey shells.
But tell me why they would be that expensive. What is the benefit?
There's a lot more to them, and there's a lot more pop, a lot more BBs, heavier BBs.
Oh.
It's not
Okay.
It's way more expensive to engineer that load compared to like a pheasant load.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I go back home and I go looking through my stockpile, and I've got probably a 20-year-old round. I've got like maybe 3 or 4 of them, 3-inch. They're labeled Magnum 4-shot, which is pretty close to what a turkey round would be.
Yep.
So I'm like, we're just going to shoot these.
Yeah.
So we go down in the woods, essentially, all things considered, for $8 along with the gun, and take this bird out first shot with a modified choke.
Yeah,
Somehow got it done with all that.
Correct.
In street clothes, but in a blind. So the blind
Yeah.
was whatever, but we've
Yeah.
already used that. So you didn't even have to have camo on, right? Because
No,
you're in a blind.
Because the blind's camo, so
And you had, I think you had a white T-shirt, and I was telling you, like, you got to cover up that shirt because you can see in there. So you put on a darker shirt. But besides that, we weren't all like
That
outfitted.
I did the exact same thing last turkey hunt that like I personally got to go on, where I wasn't guiding or calling for somebody else. It was during during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about it because it's never been an issue buying shotgun shells. And I swung into Cabela's, and all the turkey loads, and it was late spring, so I figured it'd probably be picked through, but whatever. There was only like 5 boxes left, and they were all like the premium of the premium Federal XL copper plated, blah, 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 all this crap. But it was like $80 for 10 rounds or something like that. Yeah, I'm like, no, I can't do that. I just can't. So I did the same thing. I think I had some just huge like goose loads or something.
Yeah.
Like, if it can kill a goose 50
Right.
yards up in the air, I think it can kill a turkey from 20 yards away. And
Yeah.
guess what? It did.
Weird.
I have video
Whoa.
evidence of it.
And it's also one of those things when you think about it, like, people talk about hunting, either as like a sport that they just enjoy to do, or there's a lot of people that say, no, I hunt because I want to feed my family. I want to fill the freezer, that kind of thing.
Yep.
But when you do the math on some of these things, like, it doesn't actually make sense.
No.
If you
Yeah.
if you do all of those things.
Yeah.
But the point is that you can go out and you can do this. You can harvest an animal humanely, cleanly, and it be much cheaper than what you're going to spend at the grocery store.
You can buy a used shotgun for around $200. You can use thrifty type of shells. There's expensive. There's cheap. All of that, and get as wild with it as you want. But you can make it. That gun will pay for itself in 2 hunts if you do it right.
For sure. And then everything that comes along with that, obviously, with the just the whole process. So, what after you take the animal, then what do we do?
I put it over my shoulders, like the blood was dripping all over my legs, like all over my jeans. And once we bring it up, I have to switch like where I hold it because it's so heavy.
They are heavy, aren't they?
Really? Was that heavy?
It was pretty heavy.
But
like my
that was
arms
a
were
far-
getting sore.
That's a
or
far walk
sore.
too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's up a pretty big hill, right? Yeah.
Yep. So keep going.
Then so we bring it to the trailer, take a couple pictures. We took off the feet.
Yeah. So
To get a picture.
just for as souvenirs. So we've got the the leg with the little spur
spurs.
on it.
Yeah, the spurs.
And the beard, obviously, and then that fan, on the back.
Yep.
So that we can get all that mounted. But then what do we do?
Then we decide how we're gonna. What is it like? What's the proper word? Fillet it or?
So how we're going to prepare it for eating, right?
And then we decide to how in Hy-Vee if you were to buy one, that's how we were deciding to do it.
All right, like a full bird.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we start ripping the feathers off.
So you guys were plucking? You guys plucked it?
Mhm.
You left the skin on?
Yep.
Oh, now that's a tedious job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
So you got it all plucked. We get it cut open, get it gutted. That was probably the first bigger animal that you've gutted.
Yeah, the biggest animal probably.
Yeah. Was a little stinky
Yeah.
once you started gutting
Kind of
it.
gross.
Those things are stinky. Yeah.
We got into the what would you call it, like the gullet or wherever the it first intakes its food.
Where the gizzard's at, all that.
Gizzard, yeah.
Yeah.
And you could see it was just interesting because you could see what this animal had been feeding on. It's kind of an anatomy lesson. You can get in there, you see the organs. Okay, this is that. How they process their food, that kind of thing. But we get it all cleaned up, take it to the hose, wash it down really well. Then what?
Then, we make sure everything's all clean, get all the blood out, and then, we wrap it in.
Like an oven bag?
Well, we just wrapped it up in
Butcher paper.
Yeah, butcher.
to get it
Oh,
to get it home.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joel was wanting to do, like you said, the whole bird. So I was thinking more about just breasting it out, and cooking the breasts, and then maybe tossing the legs separate in a roaster or something like that. But he wanted to do the whole thing, so we started prepping that. How'd that work?
Yeah. Then we put it in the salt water.
Salt brine,
Yeah, salt brine overnight, and then. Yeah, I had school the next day, so I was at school, and then I got home, and then Mom was like, "Oh yeah, your turkey's almost done, so that's what we're gonna have for dinner." And yeah,
We had like a Thanksgiving dinner
we did.
in May.
All
Was it
right.
May?
it was like a
There
random
you go.
Thursday
Or no, April.
too.
Yeah, it was so good.
Do you guys put it in the oven or did you put it out on the smoker? What did you guys end up doing?
Put it in the oven, just,
Yeah.
basting it, and had a little rub on it. And obviously it had been through that brine all night, stuffed it with some onions and some garlic.
Butter.
And, and just let it roast.
It
When you
was
ever have a
so
question,
good.
just another stick of butter. Just
Right.
put another stick of butter in there.
Can't go wrong with butter.
Cannot.
From a cooking standpoint, I was very surprised how quickly it cooked.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that has something to do with it being a natural wild animal compared to something that we get at the grocery store that's pumped with juices and stuff. I don't know.
It doesn't even resemble a turkey that you like buy at the grocery store.
Yeah.
The breastplate's so much different.
Yeah.
It's so much bigger in some areas. Yeah, you can tell it's a wild bird.
So that bird cooked. I mean, it got to temp within like an hour and a half.
I know. You had texted me and was like, this sucker's almost done. And we had not prepared.
I was expecting like at least 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
So, turn the heat down, let it sit in there, continue to baste it. What else did we make? We made some potatoes and some, I don't know, corn or something.
Yeah.
Just like traditional Thanksgiving,
Gravy.
sit down and
I made the gravy from the drippings.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. The
Was
gravy
it-
was killer.
The best.
Nice. With
Yeah.
the stock.
Yeah.
So it was just you three?
Yeah.
Wow. So, and then I want to take that to something you mentioned later, where you're trying to like nickel and dime it or figure it out. Like, well, man, it costs $80 for this, $500 for that. That experience of cooking and then having a meal together, something that you actually had to go out and earn, like that's kind of priceless.
Yeah,
in my
huge.
book,
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Huge.
It is just supper. That's all it is. But
And then, of course, we had leftovers.
it's huge.
So I made turkey pot pie the next day.
oh wow!
Oh, yeah, that was
and then cold turkey
And
sandwiches.
yep, we had
Oh,
sandwiches.
yeah.
I mean, this was
Yeah.
like meals for days.
Oh, I know. It's so much meat on those darn things.
Yeah.
Did you eat the leg?
Yeah.
Caveman over here.
He was.
It actually kind of tasted good.
There's just so many ribbons and cartilage and
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah.
It's good. Don't get me wrong.
We're literally
but-
sitting there, and
yeah.
he has the whole leg, and is like he is a caveman, just biting at it at the dinner table. I'm like, get after it,
That's
bro.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really, really cool. I could just tell, like his smile.
Well-
he was just super proud.
Well, he should have been. And Ben, you're kind of a foodie, a little bit. I mean, you're probably already thinking like, okay, I gotta get another turkey, and this is what I want to do next.
Oh, yeah, for
like,
sure,
You
yeah.
probably already have the next 4 birds kind of
Yeah.
planned out what you're gonna try.
Yeah, I've definitely been thinking about
Yeah.
the different ways that we would do it. That the way we did it was the most traditional, and you got to do that.
Good way to
have
start.
have it that way and see. But it was very good. I've heard people just in general, not everyone, but talk trash about
course.
wild turkey. It's tough, it's gamey, it's this, it's that. That wasn't this bird at all.
No,
No, the issue is it's wild game, so you got to be very careful with how you cook it and prepare it. It's not as forgiving as
Sure.
something you get
Yeah.
at the grocery store, and you were on it. It's like, oh my god, it's already almost done.
Yeah.
Most people, oh, it's a turkey, I'm just going to throw it in there like a butterball.
Yep, right.
And then you go to eat it, it's totally dry.
Yep.
It takes all the good taste and it accentuates the bad taste. All those things happen so easily with game, and it just takes one time for that to happen to a guy, and that's just how you categorize it now. Like,
yeah,
I don't
right.
like it.
Yeah, I don't like them. Yeah.
and then do they quit hunting birds? Probably.
Well,
or people will donate them, or
Yeah.
something like
Okay.
that.
Stuff like
yeah.
that.
So you said something about when he was plucking it. Do some people not do that?
no, a lot of people don't because it's so time consuming and tedious. But Ashley, that's the way she wants us to do it. And we figured out a hack, which is, I guess, how a lot of people that do their own chickens dump scalding hot boiling water on it, and that really loosens up the feathers attached to the skin, and then they'll come off so much easier.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't tell you. You guys, now you know.
Now we
you
know.
next.
So the other way would just be to skin it and like.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
and then the feathers come off with the skin.
And Ashley said that to me. Oh, you better text them, tell them to get an oven bag. So if we're like running low on time, or we got to travel from here to there, or whatever, and we don't feel we have time to do a proper plucking and boil all the water and stuff, we'll skin it, have the whole bird. But then it's a must. Get an oven bag
Okay.
to help keep that moisture if you're not going to have the
Yeah.
skin on.
Yeah.
So
And probably from a food safety standpoint, I mean, at that point, you've got a bunch of exposed muscle, meat
yep.
that could get bacteria on it or whatever,
Sure,
and you want
sure.
to protect all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you go to cook it, just put it in an oven bag, and that'll really help keep the moisture. Yeah.
So Joel, is this something you want to do again?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think now I kind of want to shoot a deer and try different animals.
There we go. There we go. So you
Gateway.
one more rifle.
Yeah.
Hey, what'd you think of the pheasant hunt? I never got back with you.
Oh yeah.
Other than Kylo shitting next to you in the truck, but that was more my fault.
That happened. Yeah. People who are listening probably don't realize what we were talking about, but we went. Was it? When was that? Was that November?
Yeah, that was like a late season. Snow was on the ground,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Pheasant hunt. We had an opportunity.
Went up to Andy's place and traveled. It was like about a 4-hour drive. Joel rode in the back seat with Andy's dog, and me and Andy were up front. And Andy's dog literally decided to take a dump on the back seat.
Yeah. Well, he's a young dog. It was his first season, and he was whining, but I'm just like, shut up, quit whining. We're almost there. Yeah. That's what I thought he was doing. Because, they act a little antsy when they start getting around, where we're going.
Like he knew.
Yeah, and that's what and he was acting antsy, and it was because he had to take a shit, and he did right next to Joel in the backseat.
He also threw up a bunch of, like, beef sticks or something like that.
And once again, that's my fault. We left the damn beef sticks in there. Yeah. And, he made short work of that. Then
they were, like, whole, too.
Yeah.
He swallowed those things.
Yeah, we're just, son of a bitch.
So you've pheasant hunted, you've done a turkey, but you enjoy all of it. So you would like to keep doing that, and then also maybe get in the deer blind with me.
Yep.
You can. I'll let you use my gun.
Thank you.
All right.
Then Dad doesn't have to get another one unless you want an excuse to get another one.
Nope, not me. Or you mean a gun?
Yeah. For him.
I could always use an excuse to get another gun.
Yeah. I'll take it. That's yeah. There we
As
go.
far as hunting though, like myself personally, we talked about it with Morgan's deer, with Joel's turkey. I've never shot a deer. I've never shot a turkey. I've been out hunting for turkeys multiple times. Have never got an opportunity to take one. But I'm totally fine with it. Like, I think that's kind of that true, like, hunter's spirit that most people who are listening understand, but there's a lot of people that don't understand. They just think we're savages. We want to go out and kill and blah, blah, blah.
Bloodthirsty, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I don't even care, man. Like, the process and all the things that we talked about here from beginning to end, all the way through consuming the animal, is so much more rewarding.
Yeah.
And then and just being able to be a part of it.
Yeah. You kind of skipped a step for me, and that was like by far and away my favorite thing to do is to take Ashley, my wife, out turkey hunting, and she has the shotgun in her hand, and I'm behind her, and I'm doing all the calling and this and that, setting up the decoys. It's a lot of fun for me, rewarding whatever, to be a team and call that bird in for her. You know what I mean? It's just, that's my favorite hunt, and that's kind of like you started at that point.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's what I feel like you're not giving yourself really much credit, because like that is totally you. You are a helper and a provider, and you literally helped me with my deer, get it in, whatever, all the steps, and same obviously with this turkey. So it's so fitting, I feel like, for you. But I would also like to see you get something too. So, I mean, when is season?
We want another bird,
There
right?
still is season, right? Going on?
We'll probably go out turkey hunt again.
Okay.
If we can squeeze one out over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I mean, it's just fun. It's just fun to get out. Like that day when he didn't want to go, I was literally going to go and just go sit down in the blind by myself and just try to call birds in. I didn't have a permit. I hadn't bought one.
So
I
you
wasn't
weren't going to shoot.
shoot.
Oh.
No, but if he didn't want to go that day, I was still going.
Yeah. Yep.
Just because I want to get out. I want to get out in the woods.
Just get out in the woods,
yeah.
man.
Oh, yeah. And it was kid season, so you couldn't have.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as we kind of wrap this up, I want to take one shot. We always kind of have fun here, right? I saw on Twitter this morning, PETA. We always have fun talking about PETA,
Oh,
right?
lovely.
And Joel, you were kind of looking at this, but it said, think twice before ordering that chicken sandwich, ... T-Rexes, a Tyrannosaurus Rex, wouldn't approve of you eating their descendants. And then it has a picture. If you wouldn't eat a T-Rex, don't eat a chicken. Check that out.
Stop it.
Now, I want you to kind of measure that up. And Joel, I'm going to ask you, and we can ask everybody, have a little round table here. If you had the option of eating a Tyrannosaurus Rex sandwich, would you?
Yes.
I'd probably try it.
Absolutely.
I mean, I would get the ribeye, 32-ounce ribeye, and I would smash it, right?
Yeah.
Right? And also, I don't care what the T-Rex thinks about me eating them. I'm the top predator here.
Yeah, right.
Well, with my 30-06, I am.
Well, and I think Marlin is the only manufacturer who makes a gun that is listed for a T-Rex.
Stop.
See, we're already there. We're ready.
The Marlin lever gun. I think it's in 4570.
Oh my God.
And it has like, if you go to their website, each one of their guns has like a picture of the animal it would
Yeah.
be slotted for.
Right.
And that particular one has a T-Rex on it.
I believe them. I believe it would take down a T-Rex.
Actually, I think it was the most recent Jurassic Park with Chris Pratt.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
And he's chasing them or whatever. He's like one of the trainers or something.
Jurassic Park World. Yeah.
Yeah.
The gun he has is that gun. That silver lever action Marlin.
That is, maybe that's where PETA got the idea, but I'm like, man, I think you're like reverse.
Yeah.
Like you're making people think like, yeah, you know what? I should eat some more chicken.
And it's probably going to taste like chicken, right? Everything
Right.
tastes like chicken.
Most likely.
So,
Well,
Joel,
man.
would you eat a T-Rex?
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Or I'll try it. I don't know.
T-Rex jerky.
Oh, yeah, that'd
I
be a
mean-
lot of jerky.
I mean, turkeys even look like dinosaurs to me when they're walking.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can tell.
Yeah.
They got something to them.
Well, I'm proud of you, boy. That was so
Thank you.
cool. And
Yep.
we have to add, Mom was not there. This was a boy thing. But when you got one, Ben had sent me a picture and I was like, I'm coming. So I raced
Dropped
out
everything,
here.
got out there.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I gotta
Awesome.
see this thing. So it was
Very
really
cool.
cool to be a part of.
Well, congratulations, Joel. I'm happy
Thank
for
you.
you.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah. Thanks for having me and taking me on the turkey hunt and everything.
For sure. For
Oh,
sure.
you don't regret going out now?
I don't think so.
Right on.
Yep.
Good deal.
All right. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. We'll close it out.
Peace.
See ya.
Later.